1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 1. 3, 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 4, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 4, 1, 1, 4, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Harm. And this is juggling.
First of all, many thanks to you, dear students, for participating at this unique experiment. Many thanks for your curiosity, and many thanks to you, the circus artists, for coming all the way from the Netherlands and France to Muenster in order to join our balancing act between art and academia.
I think we are sometimes in a bubble in the circus world, but it's really nice to have different views.
At the very beginning, I was always thinking about how to bring my research also into circus.
It's a kind of searching how we can merge art into circus and how we can, for me, use something from the circus into my art.
What do you analyze?
When you're producing something, you actually have to choose from a cultural archive.
So have you seen many circus or contemporary circus performances?
Actually, not that many.
I'm a circus researcher, and I have written my PhD about the reading of contemporary circus performances. So I developed a model to analyze contemporary circus performances, and I'm convinced that this model also helps artists during the creation process. And this is kind of the aim of this project, to transfer the reading of contemporary circus back to the circus. In our call for artists, we wrote down that we are offering students specialized in the analysis of cultural representations, and that's all they know, I think. So the equivalent.
When I first saw this open call for this program, I thought, finally, there's a university even quite close to us who's interested, who takes up this task that academia has had for other art forms and other performative art forms, and is able and willing to apply it to circus. And then, of course, the second thought was, wow, this program seems to be a very good fit for us. So yeah, it was very clear from the moment we first read it that we would like to apply.
I thought this is a great opportunity for our new project, Square One, because this is an interaction between a visual artist and a 3 jugglers. So this is actually really nice to be here or like to get involved in this project, because it's also merging different disciplines together already in the project, and now also with this university students.
We were at a party, at a birthday party of somebody a few years ago, and we saw a little cube like the one that stands behind us at this moment, and it was intriguing. I don't know, maybe you sometimes have this feeling that you see a work of art and it catches your attention, you respond to it somehow, even though you don't know why. So we had this with this work, and we thought, wow, this feels like a juggler made this. It feels like a juggling pattern in the way it is a pattern of lines in space. And we felt some connection to it, so we asked the person, the hostess of the party, wow, this is a nice piece of art, who made it? And she said, well, you are super lucky because it's a piece by Don Satijn, and he is present here this evening. So that night we got talking, and he explained us about his work, and we thought, wow, how amazing would it be to one day actually juggle his work.
So after a couple of months we met, and he asked me, will you join a project based on your work? And of course, for any artist, it's a kind of compliment that youngsters, in a way, love on a certain level your work, see all kinds of things in your work that you're not conscious of. So for me it was actually immediately, this could be interesting. This could be for me as well a new input for my work.
A part of what makes juggling interesting is that you bring code alive, and also that within the more control you have, the more rules you have, the more freedom you get somehow.
I think what we need is a lot of openness, because it's an experiment. We don't really know how the other is working, because I think the academic work differs a lot from the artistic work, but I think we can learn a lot from each other. So I really hope that the Tortoise Company is going to be able to further develop their piece, Square One, within this week based on our methodology. So where are the equivalences in movement? Where are the equivalences? When I talk to people about my profession, there's a lot of skepticism, because they are thinking, yeah, circus and research, but how do these words fit together? Circus is always like considered as the colorful, creative, chaotic universe, and academia is like the opponent, the rational, the uncreative space. And I think this pigeonhole thinking does neither circus nor academia justice. And I think it's really important to establish communication. You're just looking at this one scene and look which paradigm is actually constructed with the text. So don't write down what you want to see in the piece, just write down what you actually see.
We are taking our time so that we are able to both really dive into this world and explore all the different possibilities juggling-wise, so that we can develop a juggling language, but also that we can explore all these different ways that codes play ever increasing important roles in our society, and that we can explore how we can speak about that, because we think that's an important theme. And so now for us, the second part of the creation is when we try to answer the question, in which ways can we include all the paradigms, all the ways that Don looks at the world, that all the ideas behind his art. How can we include this in the piece, and how can we use Square One to comment on society without preaching?
don't think we really made a strategy how we wanted to be open to see what people bring to the table. We also like to see what sparks people's interest, so we can really dive on the interest and the focus of that person, because it's also our interest and our focus and energy that we put into the juggling and the circus and the contemporary circus. So this energy that brought us here is also the energy that can bring us further from other people.
Well, we are approaching circus through the lens of semiotics, and semiotics is always considered as being like really rational. It's a like really traditional point of view on culture, but I think modern semiotics is like has to deal with, for example, new cultural object, has to deal with the question, how can we transfer our knowledge or our ability to read cultural text into practice? How can we work with practitioners while using semiotic categories, semiotic methodologies?
If we try to apply semiotics, the idea is whatever text in the sense of, well, cultural artifact in a very, very broad sense you produce, it is significant in as much you are choosing to say or to show or to act one way rather than another. And the fact you're excluding some possibilities creates meaning.
Most of the time the hips are with this.
Yeah.
It's really still interesting why he does it the first time and then turns it back again.
Yeah, we need to again, right?
And how do you read a juggling performance, especially because the lovely people we work with here, I think for many of them this is their first contact with contemporary circus, so their main focus is texts. As cultural poets, this is what we understood. But then it turned out that for them anything is a text. So a performance can be perceived as a text as well. And we analyzed with them, which was lots of fun. And after the second morning, when we took the time to analyze the scenes, it was very clear to us. So this was really nice to have this within the week, this moment of analyzing your performance with people who have seen it for the first time.
So at the beginning we have music from the beginning, right? We have the acoustic music.
We have an exhibition.
So, but that's element, well, then continuing to control.
So at first it's the body initiating, and then it's the body following the ball. Yeah. So this is essentially the way we read. And we are now trying to use it to write a circus piece. We want to take a step back and make it conscious for us, to see consciously what we're choosing, to see consciously what meaning we're trying to get. So now it's our job to develop their idea, to develop also these other different strands of paradigms we've seen. For example, the idea of exhibiting humanity, and to get to the point of what topics they are touching in this very broad paradigm they are pointing at. We're going to ask the guys to come in and go on the countertop and start to juggle, like juggling patterns and side swap. And they're getting more and more chaotic until they finally, throw the balls into the audience. And if it's possible, we would like to ask you to, verbally speak the numbers you're throwing.
5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
diving into this subject, but there's also a lot of information we get back also in research we couldn't do ourselves yet. So it's really nice that they have their own theoretical background, and they did their research before, and we made the material we had before, and now we come and make it together, and we find cross connections.
It says that A plus B. We had to write papers. I talked about codes and irrational numbers, for the golden ratio and Fibonacci numbers. So it was about, is there something that is automatically seen as something beautiful by all the people?
Do you think you've seen enough? These take a position on the side of the space?
And I think they think a lot, so they are not like, I'm just doing what feels right, they already think a lot. But still it was nice to see that there are different ways of living and thinking and working than only at university.
You seemed kind of more investigating this cabin. I don't know, it was more acted like you wanted to find out about it, also because we had to first find out. That worked for me.
I need a stronger connection between the pattern or something with the work, because in that moment, also because we have to focus and now improvise, I didn't feel a connection anymore with the work we're inside. So I felt a disconnect. Mm-hmm. So it would be interesting, what do I juggle when we're connected with this object?
When I saw your performance and went through it, I felt like, wow, you're really creating this museum.
For me,
atmosphere.
one of the moments where I thought, this is going to be interesting is where they said, okay, so you have this mirror for society and the role for codes, and obviously there's good codes and there's bad codes, and the codes are being used in evil and for evil and for good. And so why not let that shine through in your performance and try to find scenes where codes are used for evil and scenes where codes are explicitly used for good, without preaching what it should be, but just showing what it is. And this is a feedback that we got on the first day, and I thought, this is something we can take, and that has an entire range of implications of possible scenes, of possible outcomes.
How clear do I have to be? That's for me, let's say a main question, and that's something to think about. Okay, do I have to be so obvious? Do I have to be more mysterious? Whatever. It's our challenge to find a way of bringing a message in a very strict way of dealing with balls.
Yeah, you get a lot of opportunities and you have to change things, because this is also very for, but you're afraid that you have to change things you don't want, but because people are saying you do. And this is something which you have to learn. And there you have to get strong in your own vision and your own opinion, because otherwise you get lost.
It's a baby that you put out there in the world, and that you take a lot of care of, and all of the students or all of our co-collaborators here, they are able to phrase very precisely, and they don't let their emotions rule their feedback, which is nice, because then it also doesn't doesn't enter the heart directly, but there's the mind as a filter.
There is a risk, but that's why we are doing our work together. I think it's important in general that artists are talking to researchers, or especially circus artists are talking to researchers, and vice versa, because I think we can both learn a lot from each other. Academia can learn a lot from circus, and circus from academia. So I think that's the most important aim for the whole week, but also in general.
Here you can really go into the concept and really go for it. And that's why also we decided to start working on it for a year. Because normally some projects, it's within 2 months, 3 months, you go from concept to finished work, and you don't have the time to reflect. Now we can work here, we have time to reflect, we start working again, there's time to reflect. We can train, we can adjust, we give ourselves the space to also think about it a bit more and be together and develop it.
I think what we have been doing here is also highly relevant for cultural politics and academic politics, and that's why today we're going to have a discussion with representatives of university and representatives of the German circus scene. The big aim of the project in general is to show the high potential of the border crossing between art and academia.
Okay. Well, I'm Michael Quandt. I'm a philosopher by my discipline. I'm living and working in this building in the 3rd floor. And the university as a whole should be more open to explore new fields, not to stick to the common rules, but be an experiment themselves. Because a lot of people think, well, that's not really in the heart of what universities should do. And I say, no, wrong idea. It's in the heart because it's dialogue between us and society. And this is the main thing we have to do as universities.
I really think this is a great example of what you can do in teaching if you really are willing to do that. But it also means that it comes with quite a lot of work and with quite a lot of cost for the ones who do that there can be changes within the system.
And when their universities decide to teach circus and research in circus, that means that there are more and more professionals come, which not come from another art scene like performing arts or from theater, but really coming from circus from the beginning. And that helps to develop a scene because young people who already studied or researched in circus at university, they are a good base for the development of circus in Germany.
Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Harm, and this is juggling. I mean, well obviously it's a work of art. It's a sculpture by Dutch visual artist Don Satijn, but it's also juggling. It's 4-1-1, 4-1-1, 3-1, 3-1, 4-1-1.
I had the feeling that dramaturgy and all these systems, it's a way to really deepen this material that we call circus. And I really think it is necessary for the art, but also for myself to try to go further.
What worked for me was finding very concrete ways of using rather abstract concepts that we know. And I do feel like I have more ideas how to even do this in other fields now.
I'm happy to go back to normal life and to a less structured way of creating at some moments, but I'm also very, it's brought us many things. It was a rich experience. I felt it gives me as a creator also many tools, different and varying ways to look at the piece, that I now have. I filled almost an entire notebook with thoughts, with ideas, with ideas based on thoughts. So we have a treasure to work with after.
The interesting thing was yesterday, Haan was telling me, "Wow, it's so great! We are just starting," and I was like, "Huh?" But we're nearly at the end. And for me, I think that was the biggest present we got during this week, that he had the feeling, now we together are just starting something. So I think we are going to work with the tall tales also in the future. But I also would like to work with all different kinds of company, with circus teachers, with dramaturgs, directors, circus students, in order to give them a methodology they can use within their creation process. And that's what I'm hoping for.